A Calvert-Lewin header gives Everton the 3 points at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Spurs lose the opening game of the new season. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Today, Tottenham take on Everton at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 4:30 kickoff, our first game of the 2020-2021 season. The Premier League officially started yesterday with 4 games taking place, but in pre-season, Tottenham played 4 friendlies against Ipswich, Reading, Birmingham and Watford. Tottenham won 3 out of the 4 matches. Tottenham have also signed 3 players this summer: Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Southampton, Matt Dougherty from Wolverhampton Wanderers and Joe Hart from Burnley. But us Tottenham fans are all expecting more signings before the transfer window ends on the 5th of October. In particular, we need to sign a striker, and badly and quickly. It is now 1,108 days since Tottenham Hotspur Football Club signed a striker for the club. An incredible stat that I hope ends very, very soon, and I hope that a striker does arrive at the club very, very soon, because we have got games coming thick and fast in the next couple of months. I am also hoping that Jose Mourinho delivers Tottenham Hotspur a trophy at the end of this season, because the last domestic trophy for Tottenham was back in 2008 when we beat Chelsea at Wembley in the League Cup. Far too long for a club like Spurs not to be winning trophies. So I'm hoping that Jose Mourinho can deliver. It is his first full season at the club, and you know what that means. This season ends in a 1, and it's his first full season at a club, and he always wins trophies in his first full season. So I'm hugely excited. So FA Cup, League Cup, Europa League, I'll take anything from Jose Mourinho and Tottenham right now. I just want to see Tottenham have a little bit of glory and, just put some trophies in the bank as soon as possible. Anyway, today's game, I think it is absolutely vital that Tottenham Hotspur get a win in their first opening game of this Premier League season. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Tottenham win with Heung-min Son and Harry Kane to get the goals. So I've now got my good friend Ricky Sachs with me, also the host of the Last Word on Spurs podcast. Ricky, the Premier League season for Tottenham is finally here. We are playing Everton at home today. How are you feeling?
Chris, lovely to see you as always. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where you hope we go off to a flying start. I mean, Everton, to be fair to them, have made some decent signings so far. We're going to come on to transfers in a minute, I know we are. But yeah, I mean, it's a game that Spurs, on paper, we should win. Got the quality to win. Of course, players are gelling. They're trying to get back in some adaptation at the start of this Premier League. But I do feel Spurs have got the quality in that squad to start off with a win. But it won't be an easy game. I think Everton are going to come to frustrate Spurs. Ancelotti's a serial winner, the same as Jose Mourinho. So I don't see it's been an easy game for Tottenham. I see it's been a real slog. And I'll be very, very interested to see, in terms of the style and setup of play, if Mourinho has become a little bit more expansive over the summer. We obviously hope the likes of Højbjerg, who will obviously be able to drill us more in midfield, give the likes of Lo Celso, who we know probably won't be around for this game, some creativity in the future. But on Ndombele, me personally, I'm really hoping we see Ndombele play. Obviously, we've got our wide area options in terms of Lucas Moura, Stephen Bergwijn, Eric Lamela, should he come off the bench or start the game as such. So I think Spurs have got a lot of quality options going into the game. I don't see it being an easy affair this afternoon at all.
Ricky, how do you think Jose Mourinho will set up? Because my predicted lineup that I put out earlier, and Ndombele isn't in it. Where do you see him? What do you see happening with Ndombele? Do you see Tottenham selling him sometime soon? Or do you think that Jose Mourinho will really work with him and just try and get the best out of him?
Yeah, it's difficult because, I mean, for me personally, from a bias point of view, as you know, I've always loved the guy. I've championed him from the moment he walked through the door. And to be fair, I think I've been looking at the situation with probably rose-tinted glasses on, in terms of just wondering whether he's giving enough to the team in terms of his application and effort. I mean, from what I understand, the club aren't going to be looking to sell Ndombele unless they receive a substantial fee that is going to be good enough for Daniel Levy to accept. We have to bear in mind we've spent $6 million on this player. He's a club record signing. I think he's a player that when we signed him, we expect him to come in and fill the void for Moussa Dembele. And I think you have to take into account, we've seen it before, that players don't always settle in their first season. We've seen Heung-min Son struggle in his first season. Heung-min Son went to Mauricio Pochettino and said, I want to leave the club. They kept hold of him. He's done superb. And now, like I say, he's going on to become what we hope to be a Spurs legend. So I genuinely hope the same for Ndombele, that can happen. But I think the player has to show more. And I think if anyone's seen this documentary, All or Nothing, with Jose Mourinho and the way he handles his players, what he wants to see is total commitment, total effort to the cause. And if you are not giving 100%, you will not get in the team. And, you know, I do fully assure the case in my mind that if Ndombele gives 100%, he will be an absolute star. And my biggest concern is that if we let this guy go to a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, a Juventus, he will go and tear it up. I know that concern will be, well, if he's not doing it for Tottenham, what are you worried about? But I know there's a genuine quality player in there. And I think it's between the man management of Jose Mourinho. We've seen him in the past let quality players go, the likes of Salah, the likes of De Bruyne. I think if he can work with him and try to find a way of getting the best out of him, we have got a genuine superstar in our hands. And I know I'm saying that 12 months may be too late, but I genuinely feel this guy could be world class given the time, patience and application. There's a star in there, Chris. There's genuinely a star in there.
Ricky, Tottenham have obviously done some business this summer so far. I know the transfer window ends on the 5th of October. We've signed 3 players so far. How would you rate Tottenham's transfer market so far in this window?
At this moment in time, sitting here today before the Everton game, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. I'd give it a 5 out of 10 because on the basis that we have actually gone and secured Højbjerg as a defensive mid, which I think Spurs have been crying out for so long. I liken his signing to a time where Spurs needed to sign a Wilson Palacios. They needed to sign a Scott Parker. Spurs have gone out and finally identified that area. We have gone out and bought someone that is a proven Premier League player, that was a captain at a Premier League club, played for Bayern Munich, managed by Guardiola. I think if Spurs can operate and get the best out of him, he could really fill a void that we've been crying out for, and that will allow for attacking players to then really go on and express their flair. I'm not too sure if I'm being brutally honest with you, Lo Celso's best position at the moment, but I'm hoping with the introduction of Højbjerg, this is going to unleash Lo Celso into a different player, which unfortunately we're not going to see today because he's not fit. But just on the other signings, Joe Hart for me, he's a capable and able backup. He's no more than that. I wouldn't want to see Joe Hart every single week. I think what he brings to that changing room is leadership, a real vocal presence that Spurs have been missing, a guy that has been there, won the Premier League, know what it takes to win, isn't shy of confrontation, and that's exactly what Tottenham need in that dressing room. If anyone's seen the Amazon documentary, Mourinho is encouraging the confrontation, is encouraging the conflict, and Joe Hart is a person that will speak his mind, and I think from that basis, from a personality perspective, he's exactly what Tottenham need. If he's anything more than that in terms of playing every week, then I would be massively concerned. I think Hugo Lloris is above, miles beyond our number one for the moment. I think Spurs in the future need to go and address that position. And if we turn our attention to Matt Dougherty, a player that Spurs, from a right-back perspective, we've been looking to try and fill that void for, you probably say, the last 12 to 18 months. We all hoped Aurier would be that man. If we're being brutally honest, Chris, I think he scares us as much in his own box as he does in the opposition. So I think with Aurier, if it's me personally, I would still keep him as a backup. Because Tottenham, for me, I don't want to see us weak in the squad. We need to have an alternative right-back. We've let Carl Walker-Peters go. You look at our other options, 1-4. I think he'll probably leave this window if the right offer comes in for him. I'm looking and thinking Japhet Tanganga, he can play right back. Again, for Japhet, I would prefer that he nails down what his preferred position is. And I think he's looked extremely good as a centre-back. He's looked okay as a right back, but we keep moving the kid around that back four. He needs to have a settled position so it enables his development. But to answer your question, I think Dougherty has been a good signing. Player that, will need to have time. We're going to want to see the best out of him. I think there's a good chance that he starts this afternoon. I think he's played over 50 games for Wolves. They were gutted to see him go. He does up and down the pitch. He is quite sound defensively, but he hasn't kicked the ball yet for Tottenham. So I'm saying he's a good signing. I'm hoping he'll be a good signing. But in terms of the 5 out of 10, I'm giving you that rating because Spurs need to do a lot more business this window if we are to seriously try and compete with the likes of Man City and Liverpool, if that's even possible, and make sure we get into that top 4.
Ricky, our good friend Lee McQueen put out a tweet earlier today and said 1,108 days since Tottenham have signed a striker. That is a mad stat, isn't it? And where are the strikers? Because we let Llorente go. Another striker hasn't come in since, and we have really missed it. And, very clear and evident last season. Heung-min Son, Harry Kane got out injured. We really, really struggled. Surely Tottenham have to do some business before the 5th of October to get another striker in.
Well, I have to, Chris. I mean, at the moment, me personally, I've said this before, going into this season without another striker, for me, is criminal. I think, you're bringing Jose Mourinho in. The man is a serial winner. On trophies wherever he's been. He always wins trophies in his first season. Please forgive me, I'm bigging him up here. But, if we do not bring a striker in, which I'm confident we will do, but if it is not to the level of what Spurs requires a football club, then we're going to be in massive problems. Troy Deeney, with all the greatest of respect to him, look, seasoned Premier League pro, but where Tottenham, as fans, we want to be, and where Jose Mourinho is as a manager, I would be very, very disappointed if Troy Deeney is the best we can get this window. And my concern is that as long as this window goes on and towards the end of that window, you end up having to revisit players that you never even thought you were going to have to at the start of the window. It's clear they've got an interest in Milik at Napoli. That's all a bargaining tool. It's all about price. That guy, again, the concern is he's not Premier League proven. Whilst he's got a great record in Europe, the guy hasn't, come to the Premier League and torn it up yet. Danny Ings, Raul Jimenez, these two guys, they are proven Premier League players. Probably Wolves and Southampton are those two unlikeliest clubs that I want to do business with us again. But what I would say to that is that if Spurs have genuine ambitions where they want to get into that top 4, they have to go and get themselves a proven Premier League striker with a consistent record. It's not easy. It will cost money. But my God, if you want to, win the trophies, you want to get Jose Mourinho to where he wants Spurs to be, you have to back the man. You simply have to back him. So to answer your question, it's not good enough, but I am confident we will bring a striker in. My biggest concern is the level and the calibre of that striker we bring in.
Ricky, we've seen on the Amazon documentary that Daniel Levy said that Jose Mourinho wants to sign a striker, but he wants a particular type of striker. Now, what type of striker does he want in your opinion? Because so far, all of the players that he's signed in this transfer window do have Premier League experience. So surely if Tottenham wanted to sign a striker with Premier League experience, someone like Callum Wilson would have been that perfect signing, wouldn't he?
He would have been, yeah. Again, that's just down to price, that one. That was always down to price. Spurs, like I say, once he got over 20 million for a striker, let's be honest with you, he's not going to be the first choice. Again, this is my biggest problem with Tottenham, that we're going out there and we're searching for someone that can come and play second fiddle to Kane. That's the wrong attitude. As Mourinho said in his press conference before the game, you need a striker to come in that is not afraid of challenging Harry Kane, that actually genuinely believes in his heart of hearts that he can be better than Kane. Because that is what this Spurs squad is missing. It lacks a competitive nature to it. Harry Kane needs competition to drive him on. Otherwise, we're going to be the same club that stays stagnant and doesn't go anywhere. So the need to get a striker and that calibre of striker is massively, massively important. And again, for me personally, if it was me making decisions, which I'm quite glad it isn't, I would be wanting Danny Ings or Raul Jimenez, a proven Premier League striker with a track record to show they can come in, score goals straight away. My concern is if you go for a Milik, again, he's a foreign player. Habib Diallo, another one mentioned. These players are coming off the back of some decent seasons, don't get me wrong, overseas. The Premier League's a different kettle of fish. We're going for it now with Ndombele. We've gone for it with Son. We've seen how difficult it is to adapt in 12 months. And the difference now is that Mourinho is being brought in to win. That means we have to hit the ground running this season. We can't afford to bring players in, give them 12 months. If it was me, I'd wait until the end of the window, and we're seeing potentially, a window of opportunity. Suarez is potentially available. Costa's potentially available. These kind of strikers that have been in the Premier League performed, and they are nasty, and they get up people's, noses. This is exactly the kind of profile Spurs need to bring in. They need to bring in players that are going to upset the opposition, that aren't going to let them rest, that aren't going to let them settle, and can also, importantly, hold up the ball. Kane does that magnificently, but I wouldn't be too hooked up on the idea that we have to bring in, if it's a front man or a poacher, we have to have another option. I'm not too concerned whether it is, someone like a Jermaine Defoe or someone like a Costa in terms of the different styles they offer. But the case is, Chris, that I have to be talking to you at the end of the window with that striker in the door and at a capable level where he's going to push Tottenham Hotspur on. And that's the big question. At the moment, we don't know the profile and the calibre of what we're going for.
Ricky, we've seen a lot in the Amazon documentary All or Nothing Tottenham Hotspur that Jose Mourinho is constantly demanding, the Tottenham players to be more angry, a lot more fierce. Do you think that we're going to see that this season? Do you think that he's really instilled that into the players, that he just wants the Tottenham Hotspur players to be tougher going forward?
I think, to be fair, Chris, we've been quite lucky where, obviously, as you know yourself as well, we've had the early access to it. We saw in those last 7 to 9 episodes that we did see that fierce competitive edge. We saw it against, obviously, Everton in the changing room where Lloris did not hold back. We've seen scrap as well. I don't want to kind of spoil it for anyone. We've seen another scrap off there that I won't bring it up now for spoiler purposes. I know people don't want to ruin it, but we've seen other players be confrontational. So we are already seeing players that are taking responsibility, assuming leadership, and are not scared to hold back in terms of their feelings. And if performances aren't good enough, you've got to call them out. You know, we have to try and mentally get over decisions that don't go our way, like the VAR decisions last season at Sheffield United. You know, we have to be able to mentally cope with them, have the strength of character, be able to override them. And that's what I mean. When you're bringing players in like Joe Hart and Højbjerg, these are players that I'm hoping won't accept second best. They won't accept levels to drop off. They will push the players on. They will encourage them. But to answer your question, I do genuinely feel like we are going to see a more stronger Spurs team this season. And I think Mourinho has been all about drilling that into the players ahead of this upcoming season, not letting standards drop, being at the top of your game, being ready. He has got a full squad of options pretty much available to him now, barring Lo Celso. There is no more excuses now, Chris. He's had a long time. He's had lockdown with these players. You know, as Spurs fans, we are now expecting results. We are now expecting titles, cups, should I say. No pressure.
Bring the trophies. Bring the trophies.
As you keep referencing throughout this documentary about, you know, trophies. Spurs need to win trophies. You know, God knows how many times I've said it. I said to Dembele, it's a statement of intent. Go and use him. Go and let him perform. You know, Spurs, for me, they have to now go towards this season with the belief they can go and win something. Regardless if it's that Premier League, you know, can't be Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup, they have to really believe like they're going to win a trophy. That's how you do it. Like you say every year, you believe Spurs are going to win the FA Cup. At some point, they have to deliver on that. And if it doesn't happen under Mourinho, Chris, then I don't know when it's going to happen.
Well, I've been saying it for 30 years now.
I know.
Final question for you. Score prediction today.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Spurs, but I will say this game will not be easy. I do see it going, you know, towards that, say, the later embers of this game, being very, very close, being very tight. My only, I say, reservation going into this game is that Everton have got some decent quality players in. They haven't yet gelled as a group, even last season. And I think Everton, it's really dependent on just how quick Ancelotti can get them to gel into how much they'll be a threat to Tottenham today. Because my only, I say, positive coming out from an Everton perspective is that we're playing them early. They're not going to have a chance to really have that time as a group to have trained, got to know each other, got to know each other's strengths. I'm going to say 2-1 Tottenham, but I do genuinely believe this will be a very, very tight game. But it's absolutely imperative we get off to a win. Imperative, because I tell you, if we don't win today, my biggest concern is that transfer window gets highlighted even more. The lack of bringing another striker only heightens the mood on Mourinho, Levy, the pressure around the club is huge at the moment. There's a demand for the striker, as you know, on social media. Absolute demand. So 2-1 Spurs, but I have to be speaking to you at the end of the window, saying we've gone and got ourselves a top caliber striker to compete with Harry Kane.
I hope you're right, Rick. Rick, thank you very much indeed, and enjoy the game, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
We're now an hour away from kickoff. The lineup has just been announced by Spurs, and it is as follows: Lloris in goal, and then you've got Matt Dougherty, Toby Alderweireld, Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Harry Winks, Dele Alli, Lucas Moura, Heung-min Son, and Harry Kane. I've got to say, actually, it's a very strong bench for Tottenham today. Joe Hart, Serge Aurier, Davinson Sanchez, Moussa Sissoko, Tanguy Ndombele, Eric Lamela and Steven Bergwijn. You've got to imagine as well, with the amount of Tottenham games that are coming up, there is going to be a lot of squad rotation. So these subs today could be in the starting 11 on Thursday. It's now half-time. Tottenham 0, Everton 0. Both teams have had chances. James Rodriguez has had a lot of the ball. Looks very lively, very dangerous. Tottenham really do need to keep him at bay in the second half. We have been very defensive when Everton have had the ball, and they have had a lot of possession. In the 16th minute, the Tottenham defence, Ben Davies, made a glaring error. Played in Richarlison. He should have scored. He rounded Lloris and then hit it wide. Absolutely delighted that he hit it wide, but how he did, I have no idea. 24th minute, Dele cross that didn't quite reach Son. It's a shame, really, because had that ball have gone to Son, I'm sure that Tottenham would have gone 1-0 up, but it just wasn't a good enough ball. In the 31st minute, Richarlison's shot deflected over wide. He has been very lively for Everton as well. Richarlison and James Rodriguez have been very, very lively for them. 33 minutes gone. Harry Kane, pretty much on the halfway line, played in Heung-min Son, and then Heung-min Son crossed for Dele Alli, who shot, and then Pickford made a save, tipping it over the crossbar. Probably Tottenham's best chance so far. Dele Alli actually took a little touch just before he shot, and I wonder if Dele Alli would have hit it first time. I think that Tottenham might have gone 1-0 up. Anyway, 37 minutes gone. James Rodriguez, outside the box, just left of the post. A glorious chance for them. And as I've said, James Rodriguez looks an absolute star. And I'm just gutted that Tottenham didn't sign him. You know, if he can go to the likes of Everton, he could have come to the likes of Tottenham. Anyway, 41st minute, just before half-time, Matt Dougherty, what a wonderful ball to Harry Kane. Harry Kane then played it back to him, and he hit it on the volley, and a save by Pickford. Tottenham, so unlucky again not to go 1-0 up. Anyway, just before half-time, 43rd minute, Richarlison's shot on target, but Lloris equal to it. So it's 0-0. Both teams have had chances, but Tottenham do need to just try and a little bit harder and unlock the Everton defence. But I do think that Tottenham do need to keep Richarlison and James Rodriguez at bay, because they both are very lively. It's half-time. It's Tottenham 0, Everton 0. I've got Spurs fan Dave with me. Dave, Tottenham have had chances. Everton have had chances. What have you made of this first half?
Yeah, it's a different Everton to what there was in July. I think Rodriguez is running the show a little bit in midfield, and they're getting lots of possession. Yeah, Richarlison had a fantastic chance because there was a poor cross-field ball by Davis and got cut out. Toby was, done for pace, and really, I thought it was going to be a nailed-on goal, but he went round the keeper. I don't know, he still fell over. So, we got away with one there. But we was on the back foot. We've been sort of giving up possession and just holding our line, and then sort of, the last quarter of an hour, we started to get back into it, and that Harry, Sonny, he had the breakaway. He should have played Harry in, because Harry was running, screaming for the ball, and he passes to Dele. Well, Dele had the shot, but Harry was in a far better position, and I think had he done it again, and he would have played Harry in, because Harry was in space. He was on his own, and he was sort of saying, "Well, why didn't you pass to me?" But having said that, Dougherty had a fantastic opportunity. Pickford did well. He did well with the shot from Dele Alli, but really, I thought Dougherty was going to score, and he just sort of managed to get his foot on it. And so it was a really good save. It was a really good, fantastic ball by Kane to, for the 1-2. And I think it's all to play for. I think Everton are doing well. They look a lot more solid. We look solid. I'm a little bit disappointed with Winks and Højbjerg, really. They're not bossing the midfield at all. They're giving up, so they're giving up possession. But, Harry's not getting any service. He's only had a couple of balls through. But he does look sharp, and I think there will be a goal. But I think it was going to be very tight. I think there might be one of those. I know you said 2-1, possibly, but there is goals in this game. But I don't think there's going to be many. There might be one or two, but it's.
What do you make of the lack of possession for Tottenham in these home games behind closed doors? Because when the fans do come back to the stadium, do you think it's going to be the case of the fans are going to be on Jose Mourinho's back and the team's back saying, come and get the ball? Because Tottenham are being very used to letting other teams now come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium having a lot of the ball.
That is what we've been seeing for those last 5 games at the end of last season and this one. I mean, I can't see the fans putting up with this. There's nobody there to get on their backs, and I think Spurs fans are not used to this sort of play. Yes, if we get results, if we win games, we might put up with it. But I mean, if we're getting mullered and then we just get a breakaway. I mean, we had 29% against Leicester and won 3-0. Yeah, I mean, fans will probably settle for that, but we're not used to it, are we? We're not used to this sort of football.
Having said that, though, Dave, on the counter attack, we do look very threatening. Of course, Harry Kane had the ball, played it to Sonny, and then played it to Dele Alli, and it was very unlucky not to score. Yeah,
absolutely. I think there is a goal there. I mean, I think we do look a bit more, defensive-wise. We look more solid. So he's addressed that. I mean, you had Sissoko in the team instead of Winks, and I think perhaps that would have been a better option. Because I don't think Winks has done nothing. He just sits there and he passes these little balls around, and he always goes backwards. He reminds me of Tim Sherwood a bit when he used to do his, his cartwheels in the middle of the field and pirouettes wherever it was. I don't know. He doesn't look like the attacking player we need. And of course Dombele is absent again. Well, you didn't have him in your starting lineup, and I don't think many Spurs fans would have had. He's
on the bench, Dave. He could feature. Now, are you confident for a Tottenham win today? Are Tottenham going to do the business in the second half?
I still think we're going to win. Yeah, I think it's only going to be 1-0. I really do. I think it's only going to be a goal in it. We might pinch it, because we've been knocking. I mean, Richarlison must be bloody kicking himself for missing that opportunity because he'd done the hard work. He got the ball, we went around the keeper. I don't know, he just fell over. I don't know. He's he hit the post last time, didn't he? He had that fantastic chance, and then they had a dust up in the dressing room. I mean, that one. I don't know. Are they showing that? I mean, you've seen the last 3 episodes. Is that dust up in there? Is it? It probably is. You're nodding.
There, I don't want to ruin it for everyone.
It's a classic, that, wasn't it? But I think Harry and Sonny will be having a bash this time. I mean, Sonny, what was that last kick at the end of the? Why did he just think into the area? He knew he was going to blow the bloody whistle. It just doesn't make sense. None of it does make sense.
Dave, I've missed meeting you in the stadiums.
Well, we normally meet at half time, don't we? I normally leg it down.
Absolutely. Right, Dave, enjoy the second half and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on, let's have a goal.
The game is now finished. Obviously, it ended Tottenham 0, Everton 1. Everton just had chance after chance after chance in that second half. Just not good enough from Tottenham. Not good enough at all, especially from home. We gave a lot of possession up. We just give a lot of chances away. There was no real spark. There was no real togetherness today. It was a weird feeling. It's the start of a Premier League season. If the players aren't going to perform now, what is going on? Anyway, at half-time, Jose Mourinho made a half-time sub. Moussa Sissoko come on, Dele Alli went off. 50th minute, Calvert-Lewin crosses to James, who shot wide. 52 minutes gone, Richarlison missed another chance heading wide for Everton. The goal came in the 55th minute from a set piece. Calvert-Lewin headed in, and the goal was coming. The goal was definitely coming. You could see it a mile away. But what got me is Calvert-Lewin got up, heading in between Eric Dyer and Toby Alderweireld. You know, them two are nowhere to be seen. Calvert-Lewin headed at home, and it was a great header, a great goal from a striker. In the 60th minute, Harry Winks went off. Steven Bergwijn come on to try and give Tottenham a bit of oomph and a bit of spark, but it didn't really happen. In the 64th minute, Sissoko was in the box, passed it to Son, but it just wasn't swish. It just wasn't good enough from Tottenham. In the 69th minute, it was the first chance of the half for Tottenham. Davies crossed for Lucas, and he headed straight at the goalkeeper. You know, wasn't great. It wasn't a great chance. Richarlison, what a shot outside the box, just wide. How did that not go in? That was just after Tottenham's chance. 3 minutes later, Richarlison again puts it just past the post. Unbelievable at this stage. I must say, during this game, Richarlison could have scored 3, 4, 5 goals. He will be kicking himself that he hasn't got on the score sheet today because, as I say, he just had chance after chance after chance. Even 2 minutes later, 74th minute, Everton defender Coleman shot on target. Lloris dealt with it though. But another shot that we allowed them to have. 76 minutes gone. Dougherty, the debutant, went off. Ndombele then came on. 84th minute gone. Calvert-Lewin, another shot at Hugo Lloris, another chance for Everton. We were just so slow, uncreative in the game. And now next up, Tottenham have got to travel to Bulgaria to Lokomotiv Plovdiv in the Europa League on Thursday. Tottenham's next game in the Premier League is next Sunday. Southampton away, of course, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg's old club. And I must say that Tottenham just need to get it together and need to get going because this is our first game of a Premier League season. And as I said earlier, if you can't get it together now, you know, Jose Mourinho's surely been working with these players. I know we need a striker in. I know Tottenham need to sign a striker. But the worrying thing for me today is the way that we conceded so many chances and at home. If the fans were in the stadium today, I think that Jose Mourinho and the players would have probably been booed off because it just simply wasn't good enough. And especially when you're thinking the opening day of a new season where all of us fans are hugely excited. You know, we all want to, you know, get the first 3 points of a Premier League season and just to get those first 3 points in the bank, on the board. And now we're going to be playing chase-up. You know, where can Tottenham finish this season? You know, let me know your thoughts in the comments section up below. But when you think of that sort of performance, it is just not good enough. And when you're thinking about Tottenham wanting to finish in the top 4, that is not good enough for top 4. I know Jose Mourinho needs to bring players in, but even if we had another striker today, would it have made the difference? Probably not, because defensively, we just weren't good enough. Defensively, we let them have so many chances. I have said in many videos since we have signed Pierre-Emile Højbjerg that I thought he might have stopped a lot of the chances that Tottenham created, but it was no different today. The goal, Toby Alderweireld and Eric Dyer, you know, the Calvert-Lewin getting up before them two, you know, getting right in between them, heading home, and it was a fantastic goal by them. But these chances just should not be allowed to be given to the opposition. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you made of the game today. I'm not happy. It's ruined my weekend. It's ruined the rest of my Sunday, and just simply not good enough from Tottenham. And I'm just expecting a lot more, you know, going forward. And yeah, I hope that Jose Mourinho will have a little bit more money to spend, but it does need to be a lot more than just a striker coming in before the 5th of October.